Hello everyone, my name's JMCM16, welcome back, so let's build. So you may notice it is nighttime. I wanted a change of scenery, mainly to work on some lighting stuff. It's easier to work on lighting stuff without roofs and at night, so I went ahead and did that, but it turns out that some of the commands I was using to do checks for the versions wasn't quite going to work out with the 1.13 update. So I've gone to a completely redstone system where there's these kind of two branches that is connected to that switch once again between 1.12 and 1.13, and it goes out to these AND gates. If you don't know what logic gates are in Minecraft, feel free to just leave a comment and I may make a video on it in the future. And so don't mind the drops of water, once again not important. So I'm just going to show you what I have thus far. We're going to go into this magical bedrock portal, and it's going to take us right into the lobby. We're even in game mode, except it didn't clear our inventory. There we go. So perfect world, that already be removed. Once again, we have our switch for the 1.12, 1.13 commands. And so we're going to switch it to 1.12 because that's what I'm programming on currently. There's some decorations, some kind of pillars or something or another. I'll get final designs going in the future. So let's go ahead, just start the adventure. So we have level 1, and we spawn in with these old boots, which have a curse of binding. I can't remove these. I can't do anything. I'm clicking the mouse furiously, and you're going to see that it takes our health to 1 heart. So we really have to be careful of our environment. So I can hop down, start playing through the level. I won't show all the secrets, but you'll see right here, this clever rope trick is actually an invisible dog. That's right, an invisible dog kind of right there. That leads down to a fence block hidden beneath the ground. There is some bugs with it currently. I'm not quite sure how to resolve them. It has to do with, like, if you die, it changes some things. So again, more scenery, bonus area that has nothing in it yet. Kind of your first encounter with near death, easily traversed, and I figured since it was appropriately the initial start of the parkour map, let's make it noob. Why not make the area out of dirt? This isn't an insult to players, I just felt like it was quite aptly appropriate. So we're gonna carefully hop. Of course, it's parkour from block to block. And when we get here, we get this magical chest, which apparently is missing some of its decoration. We'll fix that in a moment. So if we open it up, we get the rugged boots, which at least these are a little stronger. And they give us more hearts. It's actually really cool how that works. I don't take credit for that. Many guys smarter than me have figured that out already. I just borrow their work. And there's nothing in that direction, so pretty much that is the map thus far. Let's see if I can find, there we go, game mode 1. And kind of today I was going to build a little more detail into here. Of course, let's go ahead and fix this real quick. So kind of when I build my level designs, I start with the walls, then I build the base. Then I start adding in the mechanical effects. Usually I want to see that they're working before that we build the secondary detail. And that's what we're going to begin with right now. So since we're kind of in a jungly area, jungly, is that a word? Might be a word. I'm gonna go ahead and just grab some jungle leaves. Might need some lily pads, don't think so, some vines. Unlocking new recipes, always a good thing. Large ferns are going to be very handy. The grass I want to avoid as much as possible. I find it more a nuisance than anything. That just may be me. The little fern, we will need a dead bush later on. That's what we're missing. We're missing the log. Jungle log. So, what I had in mind was that this area would just be filled with some smaller trees. So, I'll go ahead, build up some smaller trees. Those bushes are kind of loud. There you go. Now they're not quite so loud. Now these don't have to perfectly represent Minecraft jungle trees. They just need to represent some kind of believable jungle tree. Like, you could maybe look in a jungle biome and say, yeah, that's possible. I reckon. It looks jungly enough. Now, vines you gotta be a little bit careful of, because one thing I've discovered with vines is they most certainly tend to grow, and they will constantly grow down, so it often leads to players getting to areas where you don't expect. So you always gotta be careful where you place your vines. There are some ways to control them, and I think they even can grow sideways a little bit. Oh, and I meant to say, these are just particles, cloud particles, down there. So I'm gonna go ahead, put another tree. This time, I think it's going to have maybe a little bit of a curve to it. Not quite a palm tree-esque. Maybe you come kind of reminiscent of some of those like little bonsai trees. Although this is not a bonsai tree. I'm thinking of maybe some of the trees from Tarzan, if you remember that movie. That's kind of what I'm thinking of, these big broad trees. Broad trees, that's not a bad name for them. It's probably not even close to their scientific name. But we aren't trying to be scientific now, are we? We're trying to release an adventure map to the best of our abilities. So this will work because it'll allow the vine to grow downward. But players can't really climb vines that are set up like that. Not really. So that'll work out in our favor. Not too bad. Again, right there shouldn't be an issue. Not too bad. And it will just take time to grow, but I don't think it'll grow unless we go game rule, do daylight cycle, true. There we go. So now you've set the day cycle to actually work, so I believe it'll actually grow now. So gonna grow in, and in kind of the hidden areas, I'm gonna go ahead and throw in some large vines, or not vines, but ferns, as they kind of make me think of large bushes. We can also throw in, I guess, some of the old Minecraft grass. Gonna go ahead, throw in another tree. It just doesn't feel like there's a whole lot to the scenery, and I'm guessing since it's the first level, it doesn't necessarily have to be a whole lot. Gonna make more the traditional Minecraft tree there. Good old blocky nature form. Looks kind of like a conifer there. So now we're kind of getting the more jungle aesthetic. I also just realized I used oak here, and that doesn't match the environment at all whatsoever. So we'll go ahead and fix that. You always want to use whatever theme you're using. So jungle should be jungle logs. I don't know why they weren't. So we have our trees, we have our scenery. Now, since we are getting a little bit closer to the player, we can throw in some of the smaller ferns. I heard that. Don't make those noises. They're freaky. I mean, if you heard that in TerraFirmaCraft, I'd flip. If I heard that in TerraFirmaCraft, that would be freaky. I didn't think Minecraft did that. So you want to avoid symmetry as much as possible. That way That way it doesn't kind of go crazy on you. Now we'll go ahead and grab the double tall grass. And we'll kind of fill in just the kind of very back portions of some of these areas. Kind of maybe partnered with one or two. Just kind of like that. The intended result is vegetation. We could even put some here to make it kind of look overgrown, so that as the player falls in, it's like they're falling into a bushy area. And that's what we got so far. Not bad, but I think we can still do one better. And it has mainly to do with the path. And so what we can do is I'm going to grab some coarse dirt and some gravel. And since this is kind of along the theme of a path, we're just going to randomly go in here and start adding in just some kind of random blocks. Not being perfect, the goal is simply place down a ton of blocks. Just to kind of give the player a guiding path. You're kind of in the way. I feel like players would want to hit that, but since they're in adventure mode and I'm not going to give them a tool to break ferns, it's going to be annoying if that's in their path. And we can have breaks in our path. That'd be fine. And we can kind of leave it off there. So from little to a lot, we've transformed this scene. Now, if you'll notice in Minecraft standard jungles, they have a lot of leaves at the base of the trees, so we're going to go ahead and even add that ourselves. Don't want to block the waterfall too much, I reckon. But the goal is to kind of be a supporting role at the base of the tree. Alright, this doesn't look too bad. Still seems a little empty, so if it seems empty, put something big. That's kind of what I do typically. If something seems empty, well, it may be a sign that you need something a little more substantial, something a little bit bigger. Go ahead, put some leaves around the tree, of course. How's that look? Not too bad as the player's kind of walking around. Also, did I just see a sunflower flash in frame? Oh, I'm wondering if the recording picked up on that. Makes me kind of curious, actually. So there we go. We've got a little bit of a jungle area. So, like I said, the game will be the map will very much be focused on the parkour element, as you can see here. And so it may seem like there's not much we can do to decorate this room, but there is a few things we can do. Got new recipes. So once again, not being perfect, just being random, selective. You definitely want to be as haphazard as you can. You don't want to try to keep them on diagonals or aligned with each other perfectly. If you do, then it kind of looks a little bit boring. Symmetry can be a real enemy. Sometimes it's handy for getting your artistic message across, but we want this to look like nature. And nature tends to not be symmetrical as far as landscaping tends to be fairly random. Now, kind of the final touch we can do is very much a TerraFirmaCraft thing, and that is add in rock layers to sort of match the surrounding rock. Now, some of you just noticed that some of what I'm adding are that the backs are completely hollow. I do that because it makes it easier as you're designing if you want to add a room or take away from an area, maybe there's too much going on. It's pretty simple to edit around the walls rather than have just a huge chunk of stone you're just digging into to create stuff. And so once again, being fairly haphazard, keeping to the wall. Need something along here, probably just dig into here. Much like that. So I think that's a little bit more environment, a little bit more scenery, definitely a whole lot more richer as far as the environment. Because with adventure maps, immersion is key. Really putting people on the wire to really believing in that your world can exist in some way, even if it's parkour, even if there's these random stone pillars. You can try to tell the story a little bit. For example, maybe it's weathering. Maybe just put it on a lower ground. Maybe it's just weathered to look like this. Maybe there's not just one pillar. Maybe there's a few minor pillars that won't help the player to skip too much. Now see, this is the danger though. With every little tall element you add, there's a bigger risk that someone could map jump. So here, we want to, make sure that this is an impossible jump. Because I don't want players going and skipping the rugged boots or else they can't get more health. So I think that's going to be fine. That would be something to beta test more later. So now there's kind of a defined path. But yeah. So there's our scenery. And now I'm not showing you everything that this area has to offer. Why? Well, because I'm the map maker. I got a few secrets up my sleeve and they're there for you guys to discover. Because I think that's smart. But however, I will show you the mechanism for starting the game. So what I did was I basically made a grid and it runs the command blocks in a order. Here to here, diagonal up and back, just by repeaters. So the first thing it does is it loads in the old boots and puts it into your item slot. It then proceeds to clear, or first it clears the player's inventory, then it gives them the boots. You don't want to clear the inventory after the boots, or else they don't have boots. Then we set their game mode, of course. And this all takes place after they've already been teleported, as you probably could tell. And I'd say that wraps up this episode of Let's Build. If you guys do want to see a tutorial on some simple redstone gates, go ahead, comment down below that you guys want that. If you liked the episode, press the like button. And if you're new to the channel and you like my content so far, feel free to subscribe and ring the notification bell so that you can get the latest on when this series uploads. Because there's always more in store when I can press the red recording button once more. Thanks for watching. It seemed like a really scripted dance. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching.